As seasons change, I find my makeup changes too, and I've got the perfect long-wearing, quick and easy spring makeup tutorial for you. I'm going to walk you through step by step, and I'm going to give you all of my secret little tips and tricks to make your makeup last a long time while also making it look really nice and natural for the springtime. If you want to know how I achieved this look, keep on watching. When I think about spring makeup, I often think about glowy, soft skin, and I think I have the perfect concoction for that today. I've recently been gravitating towards this product again. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter. I use the shade One Fair, and I just apply this all over my skin. This sort of acts like a primer, and I do find that my makeup does last longer throughout the day when I wear this, but it also gives me that really beautiful glowy base, and it gives me a touch of like a sun-kissed bronze look. For me, this is the perfect spring base product. The brush I'm using for this is the Hourglass foundation brush. I'm going to link this brush down below as well as everything I use in this video. See how that ever so slightly evened my skin tone? It gave me a little bit of color and a little bit of glow. That's exactly what we want. This is also going to prevent us from going too crazy on the foundation because this already gives us a nice softened base. For everyday makeup in the springtime, the weather starts to get a little bit warmer, and I usually don't want anything too heavy on my skin, but I also don't want something that's going to melt right off with the slightly warmer temperatures. I recently discovered this one. This is the Milk Grip Gel Tint. I did a full review video on this. If you want to see it, I'll put it on the screen and in the description if you want to check it out. And the way I apply this is so quick and easy. I literally just squeeze it right out from the tube onto my face. And then I go in with that same Hourglass foundation brush that I love so much. And then I just blend it all out and melt it into my skin. This tint really blends easily. I don't have any streakiness or anything with it. The coverage is definitely light. You can kind of build it up to a soft medium coverage. For me, it's not too light, it's not too heavy, and I also like the way this wears for a long time. Like I said, I did a review video of this and I did a wear test, so feel free to check that out. See how my skin looks really nice and even, but it doesn't really look like I'm wearing makeup? That is exactly what I'm going for, and I feel like this combo base just gives me the perfect finish. Now I'm going in with a old trusty favorite. This is the Maybelline Superstay Activewear Concealer. This concealer is going to last you so long. I've never tested it for 30 hours like it claims, but it does last at least a 12-hour day. This is one of the best concealers I've tried. It doesn't crease, it's affordable. I just love it. The applicator is really precise as well. I like to apply a little bit under my eyes and the center of my face, so my forehead, my chin, a little around my nose, and if I have any blemishes, I'll also pop this on top. And then I just blend this out with my Tennille Dry concealer brush. I love that this concealer has a really thin consistency and it doesn't feel heavy, yet it still gives a good amount of coverage. It makes your skin look really flawless. All right, so at this point, our skin is looking very even and perfected, but we're looking a little ghostly, we're looking a little pale. I have been loving this contour stick lately. It is the Too Faced Melting, Bronzing, and Sculpting Stick in the shade Milk Chocolate. This stick just glides onto the skin, and then when I go in to blend this contour in, it absolutely just melts into my skin, which I love so much. Contour is one of those steps that can take forever if you have one that doesn't like to blend and it gets patchy. You can save yourself a lot of time by using one that's really creamy, so I recommend this one. Another thing that I like about this contour is you almost can't apply too much of it, so it's super beginner friendly. If you find yourself applying too much contour and your face looks muddy, try this one. When I think about spring blushes, I often think about peachy, pinky shades. I always like to go with a cream blush when I want my skin to look nice and natural. But the problem is sometimes, especially when the weather starts to heat up, cream blushes can just like kind of melt off your face. Some of them really don't last very long, but the ones that I'm about to use, so good, long lasting. I'm going in with the Huda Beauty Blush Filter Cream Blushes. I'm starting off with the shade Sunset Lychee, and I'm almost applying that in a slightly lifted motion, almost giving the skin a bit of a sunburnt effect. And then once that shade is applied, I'm going in with my second shade, which is my favorite, in the shade Cotton Candy, and I'm just going to focus that more on the apples of my cheeks. I like this little ombre effect that this technique gives, and it kind of gives you the best of both worlds, both pink and peach. All right, listen up, because this step is really gonna make a difference in how long your makeup wears throughout the day. I'm gonna do my signature setting spray sandwiching technique. Starting off with the Kosas Cloud Set setting spray. I'm just misting that all over my face. This one is really gonna melt all those layers together and make your skin look really soft and natural. And now I'm going in with my second setting spray. This is the One Size On Till Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray. This setting spray is gonna lock all of your makeup in and make it waterproof, so if you're sweating throughout the day, it's no problem. All right, so while the skin is marinating, we're gonna move on to eyes. When it comes to eyes and you wanna do something natural, maybe you're in a rush, you just want something quick and easy, right? This has been my go-to lately, and I get so many compliments on this eye look. Starting off nice and easy, I'm taking my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes Neutrals palette. I'm taking a fluffy Rephr 15 brush, and I'm just gonna pick up a couple shades here to make my perfect crease shade. And then with a really light hand using windshield wiper motions, I'm just gonna start to define my crease. I'm mainly focusing this in the outer corner, the outer V sort of area, then diffusing that in towards my nose and out towards my temples. We really want this to look nice and soft. And then taking that exact same shade, I'm just gonna run that shadow along the outer corner of my lower lash line really quick. This fluffy brush that I'm using also does most of the work for me. It really just airbrushes all of my eyeshadows. This next step is really where the magic happens. Ever since I started wearing these, that's when I started getting so many compliments on my eyeshadow. I'm going in with my Half Magic Sparkle Stick Eye Crayon in the shade Beige Mystique. And these give the most beautiful, wet, shimmery look to the lids. I just apply a little bit on my mobile lid and then tap it out with my finger, and just look at how glossy and beautiful the lids look. And these last a long time. And boom, done. That took me like 30 seconds, and I just feel like the finish of these are so pretty. I am gonna use one more. I'm gonna go in with the shade Champagne Snowflake, and I'm just gonna pop a little bit of that in the inner corner really quickly, just to bring a little more attention to the eyes. And that is it for the eyeshadow. It took me just a couple of minutes. It's literally the easiest eyeshadow ever, but so pretty, especially out in natural light. These glitters catch a light so beautifully. I'm gonna finish the eyes with a little bit of mascara. This has been a newer discovery for me. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. And this to me is like a hybrid of the L'Oreal Voluminous and the L'Oreal Telescopic, which are two of my favorite mascaras. This mascara gives length without clumping, and it also gives a little bit of volume without looking too heavy and weighing your lashes down. Honestly, drugstore mascaras these days are amazing. All right, eyes are done. Now we're gonna move on to lips, one of my favorite parts of the entire makeup look. When I was thinking about what lip liner I would recommend for the most longevity, lasting a long time throughout the day, I just had to go with the Maybelline Lifter Liner. This is in the shade On It. These last so impressively long for a drugstore liner. I think this is the longest wearing lip liner that I have in my collection, and I also love this cool brown shade paired with the next lipstick I'm about to use. It is a match made in heaven. I love this lip combo. On top of that lip liner, I'm gonna go in with my PatMcGrath Lip Fetish Divinal Lip Shine in the shade Nude Venus. This has been my go-to lip color lately. I'm obsessed. It's the prettiest soft pink shade. I also don't know what's gotten into me lately, but this step is optional. I've been on a glittery lip combo obsession. I'm just gonna go right in the center of my lips with this Half Magic Crystal Butter in the shade Celebrity. I just love the glitter this gives to the lips. It makes the lips have this little special je ne sais quoi. And they're not too shimmery, they're not chunky at all. To finish off the lips, I really wanted that glossy, glassy look, so I'm going in with my Charis Cosmetics Water Gloss. This has a slightly milky finish, so it really makes your lips look so juicy and shiny. This also smooths out any fine lines in the lips. I created this formula, so obviously I'm obsessed with it. But a little side note too about my brand, a portion of all the profits go to supporting women who are pregnant or with young children who are in need. Whether they need help with income, materials, education, shelter, anything they need, a portion of all of our profits goes towards them, just helping mothers in need. Really quickly, I want to add a couple finishing touches to the makeup look. I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish, and I love this powder for on the go because you can use it under your eyes as well as all over the face, and it just works amazingly everywhere and gives your skin this really blurred effect while making sure your makeup lasts all day long. For blush, this might look a little crazy, but hear me out. This is the new Say Super Suede Radiant Blush Powder in the shade Bella. And this is a really bright, cool pink, but when you apply it ever so softly on the cheeks, it really just gives the face this beautiful flush and spring feel. I just go in with the tiniest amount on the apples of my cheeks using a Rephr 04 brush to airbrush that into my skin. It makes a very subtle difference, but there's just something so special about this color to me. And of course, this look wouldn't be complete without a little glow. I'm going in with the Dior Forever Glow Luminizer in the shade Pink Halo. The packaging on this is so beautiful. And I'm just gonna apply that to the high points of my cheeks and a little bit on the nose as well. I like to go in for a powder highlight when I'm going for long wearing makeup so that it doesn't slip and slide around on my face. That is it for my spring long wearing makeup tutorial. I hope you guys like it. Let me know if you try it. I'm actually really curious, what is your favorite season when it comes to makeup? Leave a comment down below. I read all the comments and respond to pretty much everyone, so I'll meet you there. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It only takes a couple seconds and it really helps me out so much. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.